Hello student. In the last lecture we discussed the applications of the Newton's laws of motion. In that lecture we thoroughly gone through these motion of the particle where in the mass of the particle is supposed to be changing. So in the rocket motion we deal with the motion of the particle, motion of the rocket, where the mass of the rocket is supposed to be changing. In previous to that rocket motion we also discussed the motion of the projectile motion. Okay, so where the velocity of the projectile continuously changing. So these two examples basically related to classical mechanics, where the projectile motion and the rocket motion are the example of the classical bodies. Another example, another applications of the Newton's laws of motion is in the some different fields of the physics. So today's topic is the motion of the charged particle in electromagnetic field. So this is the topic where we discuss some basic kinematics, some basic laws of the physics in the part of the electrodynamics, classical electrodynamics. So before going into the details of the how these charged particles behave in the electromagnetic field, I just like to go through the quick recap of the electromagnetic field. So how the charged particle behave in electric field as well as magnetic field. So basically what is electric field? So if you have a charged particle, n number of charged particle, each charged particle produces its own electric field around it, basic electrostatics. So when we put the another test charge in the vicinity of those charges, so this test charge experience the force, and the force experienced by the charged particle can be given by the Coulomb's laws of motion. We already know about this in basic electrostatics. So how the force experienced by the charged particle just because of the whole system of the charges? By applying the superposition principle. So a vector sum of each and every charged particle can be added vectorially, and the resultant motion of the charged particle is the resultant force acting on the charged particle. So this is the electrostatics. So charge produce its own electric field around it, and if you put the another charge in the vicinity of that charged particle, so it experiences the Coulombic force. And this force again depends on the magnitude of the charges and square of the distance between these two charges. Let's move to the magnetostatic part. So what is magnetic field? Let us consider the example. If we have a two long wire, suppose if you have a wire 1 in which current flowing in the upward direction, and if you have another wire, that is second wire, current flowing through this second wire is in the downward direction basically. So if you flow the current through these two two wires, so these two wires repel each other and move away from their original path. So this is the observation. If you try to find out the reason behind such kinds of the motion, such kinds of the observation, first of the observation we can conclude from this observation that when charged particle move through the wire, so there is a assembly of the charges which create outside this conductor, and due to those stationary charge, so the charge accumulate on the surface of the first wire. Secondly, charge accumulate on the second wire due to the motion of the current motion of the charged particle, and due to that similar charges, wire supposed to be pulled outside. So this is the first order observation. But my question is whether this observation is correct or not. If you go beyond the electrostatic, we came to know that this is not just because of the stationary charges piled up on this conductor. There is another reason which produces such kinds of the behavior of this current carrying wire. And after the Faraday's discovery of the magnetic field due to charged current carrying conductor, so the reason behind such kinds of the observation is that the stationary charge produces the electric field, as well as when such charged particle move with uniform velocity, it produces a magnetic field around it, and this charged conductor or this current carrying conductor wire produces a magnetic field around it. So this magnetic force direction can be given by Fleming's left hand rule, since the Fleming right hand thumb rule denotes the sense of the rotation of the magnetic field as well as direction of the current. Conductor in our right hand, so the thumb denotes the direction of the current while the curling finger denotes the direction of the magnetic field. So this is all about the basic magnetostatics, and the direction of force due to this magnetic field can be given by the Fleming's left hand rule, where the magnetic force or force experienced by the charged particle in the magnetic field is in the perpendicular direction to the plane of velocity and the magnetic field. So this is all about this magnetostatic as well as electrostatic. So with the help of these two concepts, electrostatic and magnetostatic, we have to look at these motion of the charged particle in electric field, motion of charged particle in magnetic field, and if we combinedly apply those two fields to this motion of charged particle, what will be the behavior of this charged particle. So let us study step by step. Okay, so before going into the detail of these, how this electric field affect the motion of charged particle, let us collect what are the technique, mathematical tools, or what are the different laws we can apply for such kinds of the motion. So according to the Lorentz force equation, force experienced by the charged particle in electric field as well as magnetic can be given by Lorentz force equation. So F is equal to Q into E plus Q V cross B. So this Q into E be the force experienced by the charged particle due to electric field, where Q V cross B is the force experienced by the charged particle due to magnetic field. So this is equation number first. So when charged particle experience the force, of course it produces acceleration. So acceleration, information regarding the acceleration can be given by with the help of Newton's second law of motion. So Newton's second law of motion. So what is the statement of Newton's second law of motion? So F is equal to dP by dt. So what is P? P be the momentum. So P can be represented as m into v, m be the mass of the charged particle and v be the velocity. So if I just put this value of momentum in equation of force, so we'll get this F is equal to m dv by dt. Okay, so we have a mass which is not changing with respect to time, so I just keep it outside the derivative. And what is the changing term? Velocity. So velocity changes with respect to time. So this is equation number second. So those two equation first and equation second, we can use these two equation for the finding the motion of the charged particle in electric field, magnetic field, and in both electric and magnetic field. So let us start our discussion by introducing the charged particle in electric field, and in that the motion of the charged particle parallel to the direction of electric field. So in this case, motion of the charged particle is parallel to the electric field. So in order to explain the motion of the charged particle, in order to describe the motion of the charged particle, we have to have the coordinate system. Suppose if you have these three coordinate system, x axis, y axis, and this is z axis. Suppose electric field is applied along the x direction, that is Ex bar, and motion of the charged particle also in the direction of x axis. So those electric field and motion of the charged particle are parallel to each other. Okay, so this is the representation of these electric field as well as the motion of the charged particle. So let us look at this situation by mathematically. So using equation 1, we already use the equation 1. So Fx is equal to Q into Ex. I'm not writing the magnetic field part because we are looking this situation in presence of electric field only. So magnetic part goes down. So I just write this electric field. And why I'm writing this x suffix? Because electric field apply in x direction. So this charged particle which is move along the x direction, so experience the force along that direction. So that's why I'm just writing the suffix x. So this is equation number, let's say equation number 3. Using equation, again equation number, let's say 2, this equation from the, so Fx is equal to m dvx by dt. This is equation number 4, and x suffix indicates that the motion of the charged particle also in the direction of electric field, and electric field direction is along the x-axis, because when charged particle experience the electric field, so the force experienced by the charged particle in the direction of electric field, and as we know, the force causes the acceleration of body, and this term denotes the acceleration. So force, direction of force and acceleration should be same. So using equation 2, equation 3 and equation 4, so if we combine the dt is equal to q into ex, so these bar indicate the vector notation. So just do some mathematical arrangement. So dvx by dt, I just move this m into this side, so q upon m into ex. So our aim is to find the motion of the charged particle, so we have to extract the x term from this velocity term. So how to extract this velocity, how to extract this x term from this velocity term? We know the relation between the velocity, acceleration and displacement. Since the velocity is rate of change of displacement and acceleration is a rate of change of velocity, so if you have a velocity, rate of change of velocity, this is the acceleration term. So I just move this dvx and this dt part into this side, so x bar, so dt. Okay, so if I integrate, suppose this is equation number 5, integrate equation 5. So if we integrate equation 5, what do you get? So if we integrate equation 5, of course the integration is indefinite integration, so there is no such upper limit and lower limit. So dvx bar is equal to integration of q upon m into ex bar and dt. What is the integration of dvx? Vx. So q, m and ex, look at these three terms. So among these three terms, which quantity is time dependent? None of these. Q is not depend on time, mass is not depend on time, and electric intensity, electric field also not depend on time. So keep it outside the integration. Q upon e ax integration of dt. And what is the integration of dt? T. So q upon m ex into t plus some constant of integration, let's say c1. So this is equation number, let's say this is equation number 6. So our aim to find the constant of integration c1. So what is the normal procedure we did in our last two applications? Apply the initial condition. So initially at t is equal to 0, what is the value of velocity along the x direction? It is vx is equal to ux. So what is the difference between these two velocity, we will discuss in later. Okay, so initially at t is equal to 0, velocity along the x direction is equal to initial velocity. Initial velocity denoted by the notation ux. So if I substitute those value in this equation, I'll get the ux bar is equal to, this term vanishes because t is equal to 0, so 0 plus c1. Okay, so we get the value of c1 is equal to ux. If I just substitute these value in equation 6, what do you get? You will get these vx is equal to q upon m ex into t plus ux. This is equation number, let's say equation number 7. So this is the velocity of charged particle at any time t in the electric field. So we get the velocity, how to retrace the displacement, how to retrace the position of the charged particle again express this velocity in terms of the rate of change of displacement, rate of change of position. So as we know, yes, Vx is equal to dx bar by dt. Okay, so if we just resubstitute these value in this equation, what do you get? Dx bar by dt is equal to remaining term as it is into t plus ux. Okay, apply the same procedure, follow the same procedure. Dx in the multiply dt on the both sides, so you will get this q upon m x bar dt into t plus ux into dt. Integrate the above equation. After integration, what we get? After taking integration, dx is equal to, again those q, m and ex are the time independent quantity, so keep it outside the integration. So q upon m, ex, so those are the constant, I just keep it outside, and integration of t dt plus integration of ux into dt. If we take the integration of these term, so what is the integration of dx? X qex upon m, constant quantity, keep it outside as it is. Integration of t with respect to t dt, yes, t square upon 2, basic mathematics. Ux is the constant of, again it is independent of time because particle move with initial velocity ux along the x direction, so this is not the time dependent, we can say, because at each and every time velocity of the charged particle is ux, that is the initial velocity. So ux as it is, and what is the integration of dt? Again t, so ux t. So rewrite this equation. X bar is equal to qex upon 2m into t square plus ux bar into t. So this is the equation of path of the charged particle when charged particle move to the electric field. So if you look at these equation number, let's say 7 or 8, equation number 8. So this equation 8 represents the velocity path of the charged particle when charged particle move parallel to the electric field. If you look at this part, time dependent part, so we have a t square term and we have a t term. So particle move straight line with the constant acceleration. So because t terms, t square terms denote the acceleration part and t again denote the time part. So this path of the charged particle is straight line with constant acceleration. So this is so we can see this equation of path or the motion of the charged particle parallel to the electric field with the help of this animation. So we already derived the equation for path of this charged particle when charged particle in the direction of the parallel direction in the electric field. So if you want to represent such kinds of the motion, we require 3 coordinate system. Suppose if you have a x, y, z coordinates and direction of the electric field is along the x direction, so Ax be the direction of electric field along x direction, and charged particle whose magnitude is q, and we are taking into consideration the charge is positive charge. Okay, so this q is plus q, so the motion of the charged particle is also along the x direction with the velocity vx. Suppose a charged particle with initial velocity ux having charge q, so you can see that these vx and ux be the two different velocities. So ux be the velocity of charged particle before entering into the electric field. So when charged particle enter into the electric field, it has a velocity vx. So this is the difference between velocity vx and ux. So vx, each and every time you can find the vx is different, but ux, that is the initial velocity, that is uniform velocity before entering into the electric field. Suppose charge q move into the direction of the electric field. So initially it has a velocity ux, and when charged particle move, it moves with the initial velocity, and when it just enters into the electric field, it get accelerated. So you can clearly see this difference between these two velocities. Ux be the velocity, initial velocity of the charged particle, which is uniform velocity, and when particle move with the velocity vx, it follows the straight line path. So this path followed by this charged particle in electric field, uniform electric field, is straight line path. So particle is accelerated through this electric field. So this is all about this motion of the charged particle in parallel electric field. So let us look at what is the path of the charged particle and how this motion of the charged particle in presence of the perpendicular electric field. So second part is motion of charged particle perpendicular to the electric field, perpendicular to the electric field. So this is something different. Okay, so represent the situation of the problem. So XYZ coordinate system. Okay, so suppose direction of the electric field is along the y direction, so EY be the direction of electric field along the y direction. Suffix y denotes the direction of the electric field, and the charged particle move initially along this x direction. So this is the velocity of charged particle along the x-axis. So this angle between these Vx and Ey is the 90 degrees. So these two are the perpendicular to each other. So look at these mathematically, how these charged particle behave when perpendicular electric field is applied. So using equation 1, that is Lorentz-Force equation. So Fy is equal to Q Ey. So we are starting this equation, so just write this equation number 3. So Fy is equal to Q into Ey. So y denotes the direction of the force experienced by charged particle as well as the electric field direction. So this is equation number 3. Again using equation 2, that is equation derived from the Newton's second law of motion. So what should be the force experienced by what should be the acceleration of the charged particle? I just write this Fy is equal to m dvy by dt. You might wonder by seeing this equation dvy by dt, why I am putting this y suffix over here. Still I am directing the direction of the motion of the charged particle along x direction. So why I am writing this velocity in the y direction? Because when charged particle experience the electric field into the vertical direction, it experiences the force, Coulombic force, in that direction, and due to that force charged particle accelerate. And what is the direction of acceleration? Direction of the acceleration in the direction of electric field, and as we know, the velocity acceleration can be represented in terms of the velocity. So the instead of ay I just write dvy by dt. So this is equation number, let's say, 4. So keep in mind this vy and this vx term. Okay, so using equation 2, 3 and 4. So if we just equate equation 3 and 4, what do you get? M dv by dt is equal to q into Ey. So I just equate these equation 3 and 4, so I'll get this equation. So again restructure this equation. dv by dt is equal to q upon m Ey. So we have to follow the same procedure. How to extract velocity term? Again take a derivative. So dv by is equal to q upon m Ey. So I just multiply both sides of the equation by delta t dt. So we get this equation. So if we integrate if we integrate above equation, let's say equation number 5, what do you get? So if we integrate equation 5, we'll get the equation in terms of the velocity. So integration of this dvy is equal to, again look at these q, m and ey. Which among these three quantity is time dependent? None of these. So q is time independent, m obviously, and ey is also the static electric field. So this electric field is not changing with time. So I just write these outside the integration. So m again as it is, integration of dt. Okay. So what is integration of dvy? Vy q ey upon m constant, and what is integration of dt? T plus some constant of integration, let's say c3. And what is the procedure to find the constant of integration? Apply the initial condition. So initially at t is equal to 0, what should be the value of vy? Vy is equal to 0. Why am writing this vy is equal to 0? Because velocity acquired by the charged particle when charged particle move in the electric field. So initially there is no velocity component along the y direction, since the particle moving initially along the x direction, when it enters into the electric field region, it move into the y direction. Since initially at t is equal to 0, charged particle only possess the velocity along the x direction, since there is no y component of velocity at initially. So that's why I am writing this vy is equal to 0. So substitute those value in this equation. So we'll get this vy 0, t, for if we put the t is equal to 0 in this equation, it again goes away, and right, c3. So c3 comes out to be 0. If you substitute the c3 value in this equation, we will get the velocity along y direction is equal to q ey upon m into t. This is equation, let's say equation number 6. This is the velocity of the charged particle at any time t along the vertical direction. So again extract the position part from this equation. So as vy is equal to, how to write this velocity in terms of position? So velocity is dy by dt. So vy bar is equal to dy bar dt. Okay, so if you substitute value of vy instead of this vy, so what will the form of equation? So dy by dt is equal to q ey bar upon m into t. Okay, so what is the next procedure? Multiply both sides of equation by dt. So dy bar is equal to q ey by m into t into dt. Okay, so integrate the above equation. So integration of dy, so those quantity again constant, keep it outside the integration. Yes, m into integration of t dt. Okay, what is integration of dy? Y, those quantity still remains constant. So q ey by m, constant quantity. And what is the integration of t? T square upon 2 plus some constant of integration, let's say c4. And how to find the c4? At t is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. So if you put those value in this equation, we'll get the c4 again 0. If you put the c4 in this equation, you will get the resultant form of this equation is y is equal to q ey bar upon m into t square. So I just write these 2 instead of this equation. So this is the form of equation. Y is equal to qey upon 2m t square. This is equation number, let's say 7. Okay, so till now all is good. So instead of t, can we write velocity term? Can we write initial terms, which is known to us because we are providing the x component of the velocity and we get the equation in terms of the y and t. So velocity of the charged particle along the x direction is the constant velocity. So at each and every time, velocity along the x-axis is same. So at time t1, particle travel the distance x1. At next second, at t2, particle again travel the distance x2. So since the x1 and x2 are still remain same during the motion of the charged particle along the x direction. So can we write this t in terms of the velocity and position of the charged particle along the x direction? Yes, of course. Suppose Vx be the initial velocity of the charged particle, we can represent this velocity Vx bar is equal to x upon t. So x distance covered by the charged particle in time t, this is the velocity along the x direction. So I just write this t in terms of this Vx. So t is equal to x upon Vx bar. So I just put the value of t in equation number 7. You will get what do you get? Y is equal to qey upon 2m, and instead of t we have this x square upon Vx square. So look at those value. Q is known quantity, electric field we are applying is known quantity, mass of the charged particle again same, x be the position of the charged particle along the x direction, and Vx be the initial velocity of the charged particle along the x direction. So those are the known quantity, all those known quantity. So I just rearrange this equation. So I'll get this x square is equal to 2m Vx square upon qey into y. So instead of this x square for ay, so where a is equal to 2m Vx square upon q into ey. So look at this equation. X square is equal to 4ay, where a is this quantity, bracket quantity. What is the form of this equation? This is the equation of parabola. So when charged particle move perpendicular to the electric field, it follows the parabolic path. Since these equation represent the parabolic path, so this is the difference between the when we apply the electric field in parallel to the direction of velocity, and if we provide the electric field perpendicular to the direction of electric field. So such kinds of the motion we can see with the help of animation. Followed by the charged particle in perpendicular electric field is parabolic in nature. So with the help of 3 coordinate system we can represent the motion of the charged particle. So the velocity of the charged particle is along the x direction, and intensity of the electric field is along the vertical y direction. So the velocity along the x direction is not changing with respect to time in the perpendicular electric field. So this is the difference between the parallel electric field and perpendicular electric field. So in previous case, electric velocity of charged particle along the x direction is changing with respect to time when it enters into the electric field region, where in perpendicular electric field case the velocity of charged particle along the x direction is not changing with respect to time. So this is the difference between these two technique. So charged particle q, when it move along the x direction with uniform velocity, so when it just enters into the electric field, the force experienced by the charged particle is in the upward direction. So velocity of charged particle along the vertical direction, it changes with respect to time, and that's why this is acceleration along the y-axis, we can say that, and the path followed by the charged particle is parabolic in nature. So this is the perpendicular effect of the electric field in perpendicular direction to the motion of the charged particle. So this is all about this effect of electric field on the motion of the charged particle. So in this lecture we already discussed the motion of the charged particle affected by the electric field when electric field applied in the direction of motion of the charged particle, and at the end we get the motion of the charged particle is straight line motion with the acceleration. So since there is no change in the path of the charged particle when the electric field is parallel to the direction of the motion of the charged particle. In the second section we discuss the direction of the electric field is perpendicular to the motion of charged particle. So after solving these Newton's laws of motion and Lorentz force equation, we'll end up with these parabolic equation. So the motion of the charged particle in perpendicular electric field is parabolic in nature. So this is all about the electric field, since there is no such angle theta dependence term in these electric field motion. So in the next lecture we'll discuss the second part of our talk, that is the effect of magnetic field on the motion of the charged particle. So in this lecture we will discuss the motion of the charged particle when we apply the parallel magnetic field, perpendicular magnetic field, and if you make certain angle with this velocity of charged particle with the magnetic field, what will be the motion of the charged particle. So this is quite interesting topic. In the next lecture we will see this effect of magnetic field. So these two topics, effect of electric field, magnetic field, and effect of simultaneous electric and magnetic field applied in the various electronic industry, basically in the CRT scheme. So this is our the next point. So for today's lecture we'll stop here. Thank you very much.